Well, hello from the Schelling showroom in Raleigh, North Carolina. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Rene Fritz. The fellow next to me is Jürgen Sprinzi, and we would like to give you a quick tour of the Schelling S45 panel saw. We like to call this machine the Swiss Army knife of panel saws because of its flexibility. The idea was to create a machine that has the industrial output capacity of a panel saw, but also the flexibility of a sliding table saw. And at the core of that machine is the saw carriage, which can tilt the entire saw carriage up to 46 degrees. You go from a 90-degree, infinitely programmable, to a negative 46-degree angle. You can see the saw carriage tilting right now. We're going to raise the saw blade here in a moment. We can cut bevels onto board, anywhere from a 90-degree to a negative 46-degree, infinitely programmable, any degree in between. A piece like this, for example, used in frameless kitchen cabinetry for base cabinets where they joint together in a 90-degree corner to cover up the joint. We can cut pieces where we cut a bevel and then insert a groove in the opposite direction. For example, to insert a lamella or lamello for biscuit jointing. It also allows you to do degrooving for miter folded parts. Which brings me to another very useful feature, cutting simple grooves at a 90-degree angle. In this piece, we combined the cutting, the grooving, and cutting into one process. So, for example, here we just inserted a groove at saw blade width. This could be a drawer side with a 1/8 drawer bottom, very often used in the closet industry, where they like to cut 8 or 10-foot long lineals, and while they're cutting strips out of it, they insert a groove. These lineals are edge bended on both sides, put into stock, and then brought out later to cross-cut the actual drawer length out of those Kanban pieces. If we have to get a groove wider than saw blade width, the saw blade just makes multiple passes to achieve that width. Another very useful feature of the grooving is to create curved core. Used in mostly architectural millworking, you see this piece of plywood here, we curved right down under the last ply. Very precise positioning of the saw blade on each cut, which makes the piece soft, very flexible to bend around corners, and so forth. Another feature we want to explain is the miter cutting capability, which consists of the center air table being attached to the base machine with a motor drive. And you can see 2 ball bearings here. One is mounted or installed on the base machine. The other ball bearing is installed on the motorized air table. So when we program an angle on the control panel, the motorized air table will move and create the angle we want to cut between the 2 ball bearings, which is our guide cutting. I'm going to show you real quick how simple it is to program. We call this the manual operating page. From the drop-down menu, we simply select angle cut, and then in dimension A, which you can see highlighted here on this graphic, that represents a part. The red is the direction that we want to cut in one direction. Let's say we want to cut 6 inches. And then dimension B, which is on the short end of the panel, we want to cut another 6 inches off, which will create a 45-degree angle, it tells us. Or if I don't have one dimension, let's say dimension B we don't know, I can tell it, cut 6 inches in on the long side and give me a 45-degree angle, and it tells me dimension B will be 6 inches. So very simple to program. Now we're going to come back over here. Jürgen is going to run the pattern for us for a cut program. So once we start, you see that the air table moves in position. We insert the backstop through the programming fence, which gives us the 6-inch depth. One of the dimensions. That's dimension B actually. Then we pop up the bearings, apply the aluminum guide fence, which gives us the angle. and slide it in against the worktop. And you can see a green laser back there. It's hard to see on the camera. That's a feature we're going to explain a little bit, but it shows where the cut is going to. So here's our piece from the corner that used to be here, 6 inches in and 6 inches in, 45-degree angle. Very simple, very quick setup. Okay, the next feature we would like to show is the symmetric cutting feature using the green laser. The laser basically matches the cut line and is a visual guide. A feature like that is very often used in architectural millwork or custom kitchen cabinetry. Let's say we have a veneered workpiece and we would like to have a part cut out of the veneer piece that has the center of the veneer core in the center of the part. So let's say we would like to create a 5-inch draw front, and this white sliver here, the center of the veneer, should be in the center of that panel. We just mark where the veneer is. Usually I would use a pencil. For this purpose, I'm using this magic marker to make it more visual. And then we slide the piece in up against the programming fence, and we will position the mark that we make with the laser. Keep in mind again that the laser basically matches the saw blade. Again, from our drop-down menu, I select now symmetric cut, S. And then I tell it I want a 5-inch piece. That's all there's to it. We positioned already the part or the mark onto the laser. So if we press program start now, the programming fence will pull back 2.5 inches, half the dimension, make a cut, come forward 5 inches, and make another cut. Comes forward 5 inches now, and we make a second cut. And here it is, 5 inches wide, the mark that we made in the center of the part. Very simple, very quick. Traditionally, woodworkers would have to pencil mark where they want the cuts to appear and then create a cut pattern based on the pencil marks. Very cumbersome. So this is a very simple visual setup and really saves a lot of time. This concludes the tour of the S45. Thank you very much for listening in.